To get started now, we're going to go ahead and come into Miami Realtors page. What we're going to be covering today is just one segment of what you could possibly do with Remine. I do want to remind you that Remine Pro is a part of your Miami membership, and you do have access to it for free, and that it is a comprehensive, intuitive, modern MLS platform with information on premium tax service, consumer info, and much more. You also have the ability through Remine to go ahead and see listings, search for potential customers, and more. So you could do prospecting and farming, etc. With that said, you can take a Remine Pro class. You can take a prospecting and farming class. We will be bringing back a Show Me the Money class soon, which is so much fun, where we do use 2 tax service tools to let you know how you can go out there and start to search for a subdivision, get some labels going, right? And get your business moving along and running. So be sure to look for that class, right? And then, of course, we have tips and what to do and more on the Remine page. So I will be sharing this as well via the chat. While you do so, I'm going to come back to the home page and I'm going to get ready to start logging in by coming to the Miami Gateway. I see we have Carmel from Miami-Dade. Anyone else? All right, so I'm going to come and click onto the Miami Gateway. And from the gateway, Remine is this blue icon here. The blue icon that you see in the center, that's where you would click into, and that will bring you into the Remine page in your daily area. When you take a Remine Pro class, we go over the distinct areas where you have here, where you would see listing updates, market pulse information, and more. Well, since I didn't get a lot of feedback on where in Miami-Dade, how about a zip code that you're interested in?
33183.
All righty. Well, when you take that Remine Pro class, you could actually ask the market pulse to give you updates. So 33183. And you could click enter, and it can tell you the activity for the last 30 days, 7 days, yesterday and today for that area. So you could see the listings, the average valuation, and the absorption rate for that area. So if you notice here, we have 14 days for the absorption rate in 33183 in the last 30 days, the average valuation estimate of 334,000, 98 status updates with an average price of 397,000, 6 holds, 3 withdrawals, 26 pendings, 4 expireds, 1 coming soon, 26 closed with an average sale price of 386,000, 8 cancels, 12 active under contract, 12 active, and you have all of that information just by having it here set up. And you can set up market pulses for different zip codes. Another thing that you can do here that's interesting is have your branding set up. So when you're creating a CMA, you want to make sure that you've set up your branding in Remine. And to do that, you come to the lower left-hand side and click where your name appears, and that'll bring you to the settings area. Has anybody in the call taken a Remine Pro class? You can go ahead and talk to me or write in the chat, whichever you prefer. When you click on the settings, all righty, so it's probably a good idea to go ahead and take one too. I am going to try to give you some tidbits to get you going. But here, when you click on the settings, you would come and click on change or add photo and add your photo in. Then you would scroll down and you would click to edit account. And this would allow you to put in your preferred email address and preferred phone number, right? And where I click cancel, you would click to save. Next, you would skip over the Moody Analytics unless you were interested in adding that insight for commercial purposes. But you would come into display preferences and click edit. And notice that the grayed out area would be your brokerage, which would always show up. But then you could put in your display license number, the display name that you would like to appear. Now, if you have designations, certifications, have degrees, etc., and you would like them to show, you would put your display name as such. If you're a realtor, realtor associate, and you would like your name to show, for example, if mine were realtor, realtor associate, I would put Constance A. Nieto, right, comma, realtor. So you could put that in the display name. under your display email, the information you'd like to appear, your cell phone, and then any other additional information under the additional info. Notice that I speak Spanish, and that's what I put there. And then you can click on save. Now, Remine as a pro version has a social profile. And since we're in the settings, I am going to take a second to go ahead and talk to you about that too. I'm going to click here, right? So I can show you the profile that you could create, because you could have a backdrop, your photo, a welcome area, a place that you could then come and copy this and share it. And then it'll have all of your social media information and the display info. Now, to set that up, you would come into this section here. You create this one time only, which is a custom URL, but you can come and put a logo and change the items. It's this custom URL that you can only create once. If it stays in red, it means it's already in use and you have to change it around. But once you create it, you can come and upload or delete or add the logo for your brokerage. You can select or add a background image. So they have a couple for you to select from, or you can change and add an item in. You can put in a welcome message by clicking at it, putting in your message. You have 1,000 characters that you could add in. So if you had a small blurb that you like to use and you continuously use in your profile, you could put it in, click on save. And then you have the ability to put in all of your social media profiles by clicking on edit and putting in the links. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you Facebook, right? And we cover this extensively when we do Remine Pro, but I do think you should do this if you're here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the plus sign, go to Facebook, open up my business page. This is my Facebook business. I'm going to go ahead and copy my URL. Come back into Remine. I'm going to remove it so you can see and paste it in. You would do the same thing with Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Snapchat, and Google Maps if you have it. If you don't add it in, the icon just won't show. If you do add it, it will show. Any of you have some of these, have already gotten started, etc.? Do you know that we offer a social media marketing series? It's been revamped, all new, with 5 completely new classes. I think we're starting a series next week, if you're interested, where we'll walk you through creating a Facebook, doing your Instagram, how to improve your LinkedIn, etc. How to post, what pages to work on, get your review, what aggregator sites to have, what to consider as far as a website and a central hub, etc. Your hubs and spokes, how to maintain it, maybe keep up, an idea of what to do every week, when to post, etc. A good informative class. I think Christy's starting on Monday, a series just for you. If you're interested, you can sign up. Any of you use WhatsApp? Someone, anyone? Yay! You want to talk about this? Did you know that you could have a link to WhatsApp and that it's like this? Now, obviously, this is the link to my WhatsApp. So what I'm going to do is remove my number. And I'm going to send you everything so that all you do is add your phone number. What you do is after that one, notice how I send that https://wa.me/1. You copy that. And after that one, you would put your phone number. So my cell phone number is 305-898-8918. You, after that one, would add your cell phone number. And that would be your WhatsApp link that you can use for your email signatures and more. So guess what? If you don't learn anything else today and you take that with you, That's probably more vital to your business. I'm just kidding. I just think it's really cool. All of you should learn. A lot of us use WhatsApp. Okay. Now you would, of course, add in your Instagram, etc. here, and you would click save. And what that does, it populates the links for here for your page. And this becomes another aggregator site, another site that you would be able to share on social media, etc. It is interesting, Diane, because WhatsApp seems to be a huge way to globally communicate. It is a global method of communication. So someone could come into my site and click here. And if I have my WhatsApp open, they would just continue to chat. So it's what Skype was maybe before. So by having this available and adding it in like to my email signatures and knowing how to add it in and maybe having it here is very, very cool. And it's free. It's a free means of communication. It just would mean that the other person would have it, would need to use it. So it just opens up channels of communication so you could talk to anyone that has it. Text. You just need Wi-Fi. So to me, it's a must-have, especially in the day and age that we are now. Cool. I'm glad you liked. Okay, next. Coming back. You can choose whether you want your listing displayed, right? Any recently sold. And if you want to accept offers through the system, and then your process of email notification through the system, you just turn this on and off to select it. And that would be everything that had to do with your settings. Now, when you come to a Remine Pro class, we go through all the items that are here. When you come to a social media class, we come through some of the marketing. When you come to a prospecting and farming class, we actually come into the search and we do some prospecting and farming. But today's class is a version on using Remine to create a CMA. Now, if you're really interested in creating a CMA, I'm going to invite you to also take an RPR class, to take Matrix 301, but also take a CMA workshop class. Did any of you take the CMA workshop class this morning? Or the RPR class today? We seem to have had several of them. And we have recordings available and we give those continuously. A CMA workshop and using of the tax services to create a CMA is something that is vital to the business. Whether you're working with a buyer or with a seller, you need to create a CMA to gauge what pricing rate to sell, to work on, etc. So in this system, one of the neat things that you can do is that you can always come in and on the very top bar, when you're in the search area, type an address. So for the first attempt, I have an address that I want to share with you. That's 11293 Northwest. And I wanted to show you that as you start typing in, it starts to give you reference information. And the address that I want is this one here, right? It's 11293 Northwest 43rd Terrace, right? This one. And I'm going to click and go to property details. And what this is a cluster home, right? This is the equity. And one of the neat things about Remine is that it'll take public records, any records of what has happened in the MLS. It takes information that's been gathered. It takes, and it makes it easy to read. The email in the account is the one associated with your Miami MLS, but that's why you can also put a preferred one, just like you could in the MLS. Notice that here it even tries to tell you this property is off market. You see that it's residential. You see the square footage, the year built, the valuation, owned by, how many years it's been owned, approximate HOA, location on a map. You could print a property detail on it. You can see public record information that there was a purchase. It has a low sales score, the valuation, net equity, percent of equity. You could see parcel information for it. Flood risk. Location. And if available, street view. Since this is in an area, right, that's an enclosed community, we don't have street view. We can get a scroll down. We see occupancy status as occupied, no corporate ownership, absentee owner no, building features, square footage, tax living area, year built, beds and baths, correct? County, subdivision, APN number, most recent tax year, tax amount, if any tax exemptions, right? We can continue to see all for additional items, assessments, improvements, lot size, residential, etc. Tax bill, assessed tax, market value, property history with the last sale, close date, other items, mortgage history, schools and vicinities in the area, valuation by First American, Remine, Redfin, Zestimate Rental, a possibility to see, according to AirDNA, an estimate for the rental of this property. Demographics in an area, 79% college graduated, 54% have children, 3.1 average household, 89K is the average income, average age of 34, owners and associated people, and contact information. That's why this is part fun for prospecting and farming. Now, I'm going to click this little button here and it'll start to close out items, or I can scroll all the way up. And I want to show you that you can actually save this to a cart. If this was an item that I wanted to save to come back to prospect to, I could click save to a cart and create a cart and call it prospect. Enter. Let me create one, prospect. Enter. And I've saved it there. Another thing I could do here is create the CMA, which I'm going to show you. And another thing I could do is click to print, and I could create a public one record page. I could come and create a public full record page with school demographics, valuation, property history, associated people if I wanted to, etc. So there's possibilities to do things for what? Door knocking or not, to give information out, etc. And then there's the create the CMA. The idea of creating a CMA, and a tip I want to give you, is make sure that you know the bed and bath information. So when you're creating it, you have it down. So I'm going to put 2.5, 24, 21, and remind yourself that when you're doing a CMA, you do 20% plus, 20% minus, always. That's a rule or a staple. So in this case, 2421 times 0.20 would be like 450, 480 plus or minus. So it would be about 2,900. So from 2,000 to 2,900 would be a range of properties that I would consider, right? And then I don't know that I would go too low in the beds and baths. I would try to make it something similar. So this is kind of things that I would keep in mind. So here's what I'm talking to you about. You would go 20% right, in square footage. And I'm going to send it in the chat. And you would go plus or minus 20%. So let me send you that. I would also then go try to stay similar in beds and baths. And within 0.5 miles. That's ideal. Okay. So what we're going to do here is click to create, and they have a wizard. With the Remine CMA 360, you get this for free. You go and create a wizard. So I'm going to try first to do from 3, right, to 4 beds, and from 2 to 3 baths. And the square footage, remember I had calculated. So I'm going to go ahead and put from 2,000 square feet, which is about 20% less, to 2,900, which is about 20% more. The year build, I'm going to leave it is, I'm going to leave the floors as optional and the lot size. And the style, right, I'm going to leave as single family. The listing status, and there we go. We have way too many, but we'll be fine. I went ahead and there was an active one, which I probably won't use. There was 12 closed ones, right? And there's expireds. So what I'm going to do with the expired is immediately do what? Remove. Why? I don't want those. For the pendings, I'm going to take a peek. This is a 3-3. It's only been 7 days on the market. This is a 4-3 and a 4-3. So that most definitely is a no, right? And this is the actual home, right? So this one is kind of far, so I'll remove it as well. I only really wanted the pending to see if it was like right next door. So I have an active one here, which is number 17. This very far away. I'll remove that one as well. And then I'm going to come to the closed. This number 3, if you see, it's kind of very far away. So I'll remove that one. I'm going to come to number 7 and remove that one. That one is far as well. And then I'm going to start to look at the other ones. Now I have this one at 2154. It's a 4-2. It has more bedrooms, but let me look at these. This has a 3-3, right? It's 3 days on the market and it's sold. It has less square footage, but it's sold at a great price. I have a 3-2 with almost the same exact square footage. I'm keeping this one. I have a 4-3, less square footage, right? Because I like the exactness. 3-3, less square footage. And where is this one located? So what I'm going to do is move my map, because this one is very close. This one is very close. This one, let me see. Let me move the map. Where is that number 10? See, that one's not so very close. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. 12 is right next door. Do you see that? It's a 3-3. It's exactly the same square footage. I'm inclined to think that that 3 might be a 2.5, correct? Now 13 is right there as well. Look at the sale price. We'll leave it in. Here's a 3-2, but that's almost another subdivision. That's a different square footage. So is this one, right? So when I have too many, I start to get finicky, because I want something that's very, very similar in my same area. So 16 is the same thing. How many do I long for? 3 is ideal. 3. So I have 12 that's right here, 13 that's right here. And I had another one that was very similar. 9 is there, 8 is here. And there was another one that was exact, number 5. So I think I have enough. I'm going to look at this number 4. Also very similar, and I can go ahead and continue. I actually have several to use. Let me look at number 5 again. That one was good as well. All very good. Now that I have them, did you see how I used the information, how I used my location, how I used what I was doing? Now I could get finicky and just keep a couple, but they were all very similar. So now to continue, it's very, very easy. I just click save and continue. If I needed to edit criteria, I could do edit criteria here. I click to save and continue. And now I have the possibility here to select a color scheme, to customize, to upload a logo, etc. So I'm going to come and click custom. I have several choices here to select from large brokerages. I can select the Remine color scheme. So maybe this is the same as my color scheme. I can upload a company logo. So let's say that this is my company logo. Let me see. Let me go here to, let's use a QR code. My agent photo is already there, and then you can personalize it. So I'm going to go meet with John Smith. I was about to put Bob the Builder. Notice that I can personalize it. Isn't that amazing? I can personalize it so that I'm ready prepared. It'll show the address of the property, my name that I put initially in the settings, prepared for John Smith, the date of the preparation, the company logo, which I put a QR code in, my photo, our contact info that we did from the settings. I click save and continue, and the wizard now takes me to view my report. And here is a preview of it. The average sale price, right? The list range, days on market possibility, list sold difference, estimated valuation, area demographics, valuation, home valuations in the areas, the comparables to look at. I can actually come to the top here. I can go ahead and print. I can print with images or not print with images. I can include or not include valuations. I can click print. And then I can go ahead and see it. I can download and save it to my computer. This is my first page with my color scheme, date I prepared it, address, name of my customer, area demographics, valuations because I chose to keep it, comparable overview, summary information, details of the property, the comparables that I had, easy 4 pages with my information on each page. Who it was created for, the date it was created on. First page with information. Coming back into Remine, right? I'm going to go ahead and close this out. If I ever came back to the property and click create, I would have the recent CMA here for the next 6 months. So I could come and update. I could click and view it and see what I had done. Always right back here. To assist you further before starting class, I came in and I found this page, a how-to version with a step-by-step detail in case you are interested, that I am sharing right now via the chat. To me, the wizard walks you through how to create it, what to select, and makes it easy for you. You can then always close out, come back to the property, and if you do and you click create, you will see the last updated CMA that you did. And this was a wonderful Remine Pro CMA class. Thank you all very much for having spent this time with me. I'm going to try to edit the recording and have it up in the next couple of days for you to see the step-by-step tutorial on creating a CMA within Remine.